All right, we are live. Um, would anybody like to give a brief recap of recent events?
Um, so the party is split, and this is over the past couple of games. So Peitri, after we encountered the Carnathy bullet and it mangled the party, Peitri ran bravely away. A swath of forest came up out of the ground, and then he disappeared. And later, when we investigated, we found an aged sword and no trace of any trees or anything. And this was not too far outside the Handsome Mansion. Meanwhile, inside the Handsome Mansion, the rest of us, Almorn, Kolmar, and Marthau, as well as Charles and
Brevin?
we were inside. We got haunted by a ghost who took us, who more or less begged us to slaughter his killers, if I recall. And he got killed by kobolds. And we just made fun of him for a while because who gets killed by kobolds? So he opened up a portal to where he died, and we went there, and we almost got killed by the kobolds through various events. They ended up being craftier than we gave them credit for. Involved, there was a pool of electric eels that Elmorn fell into. There was a trap that Kolmar immediately shot a fireball at, and ended up being a bunch of oil barrels held up by strings. We ended up killing the kobolds and getting access to all the treasure in that, and we have it as like a secondary lair in addition to the Handsome Mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Last session, the party didn't, but we woke up with Peitri in Thelanis, which is a magical land of fairy tales, and he was in general playing through the fairy tale of Geirald,
Yeah.
Geirald, the coward. And Peitri was essentially, it came across a couple thieves that were attacking a poor old man, and he fended them off, and that poor old man ended up being Geirald the Beggar, and Geirald was able he convinced Peitri to help him recover an ancient sword that could be used to kill the evil king of the land. And the sword was in the keeping by a wizard, or a powerful wizard. We met him, and we went to his place, and that was played by Peter. We got the sword, and we went to bring justice to the king, who was played by Elmorn. And it turned out that Geirald was lying the whole time, and he just wanted to kill the king and become king again. And Peitri ended up killing the king and put Geirald back on the throne, and Geirald's wannabe wife, or the king's wife, but Geirald wanted her too, cursed Peitri pretty badly and thrust him back into Eberron. That's skipping over a lot of details. That's what happened.
Very good summary. Thank you. So you guys are now back in the handsome mansion, having been reunited. However, Peitri suddenly becomes quite ill, possibly from his adventures in Thelanis and changing from realm to realm as quickly as he did, may have left some kind of sickness. And so Charles guides him up to his room to lay him to rest. As you guys are all conversing and ostensibly talking about either what to do with this ghost sphinx that looks like a ghost person that is now somewhat of a permanent residence of the handsome mansion, and also getting to the Tower of the 12 with Brevin, there is suddenly, through all of that action, you guys don't even notice, but suddenly Marthau has a tugging at his belt and looks down and sees a gnomish character suddenly in the house.
Hello there, boss. I got a letter for you.
Oh, what's that? I can't hear you, dear Sonny.
I said I got a letter for you. I'm going to take out this sealed letter and wave it around. McCormick told me to bring you this letter. Apparently you're in charge of the Folly now. I'm just waving it around.
Well, this mansion is named in my likeness and my beauty. I suppose I can take charge of this. I grab the letter and I read it. I have to pull up that letter really quick because I read it earlier today.
As you start to read the letter, Charles bursts into the room out of breath and says, "Excuse me, sir. I'm so sorry, but there was a knock at the door, and the moment I opened, this character just came running through, and I couldn't catch him."
Charles, I really expect better of you. I will not let you fail me again.
It was like 5 minutes ago. Why did it take you this long to get here?
Sorry, sir. Seems my injuries from the kobolds' lair linger a bit longer. My advanced stage, and you don't need excuses. I'm sorry, sir. I will do better next time.
That's what I like to hear, Charles. I've always liked you now.
Very good, sir. Very good.
He opened the door.
Eivar?
Came under his legs. He didn't even see me.
So McCormick sent you here.
Yep, I've been.
Tell me, lad, how old are you?
50.
My connection's chugging, or is everybody's connection chugging?
My connection is not.
Mine is fine.
Okay.
I'm 50 years old. I've been with the guild now for going on 2 years.
Have you ever held a sword before? Or do you just deal with knives?
I mostly deal in arrows, but I do have a sword. I'll pull out my rapier. Not really seen that much use, really.
Tell me.
To kill people from a distance.
What have you heard about us? What did McCormick tell you?
That he's looking to retire, and he's not actually retired yet, but once he's healed up, he's got plans to travel the world or something. I didn't really get into that. And that you would be my new bosses after that. So here's a letter and something about get the fuck out of my house.
That sounds like McCormick. Brevin, do you know this fellow?
I haven't seen him a day in my life. But then again, outside McCormick, I'm not really aware of his underlings. I only became aware of you just before the whole incident with the Blood of Vol cult.
I see. Well, we're happy to have you along. Hopefully, you can be effective. It seems we draw quite a crowd of enemies, that is.
Well, I'm here to serve, so whatever it is you need, just let me know. And as this happens, he's sort of looking around and he begins to just clean.
He begins to what?
Clean.
What's he doing?
Cleaning.
Cleaning.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't hear the sound. My connection must be fading in and out.
Is that rabbit chewing on the cord?
I sure hope not, because I locked her up.
So Komar comes in from the back with his dirty, greasy cloak and just kind of puts his hand down on one of the chairs, which leaves a big grease mark, and then kind of looks and goes, and then walks over to this gnome and goes, "Yeah, I don't know. I don't trust anybody shorter than me."
You'll get used to this, boss. My name's Eivar Thambarrskelfar Santiar. That's spelled E-I...
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Know the way it sounds.
Here's a tip. Do you lift?
Lift what?
You put lifts in your shoes. You might want to do that. Make you taller.
Oh, I will raise up like 2 feet off the ground. So
Okay.
that I'm now 5 feet tall.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's better.
The bottom of his boots extend down like little platforms.
Okay.
Look, this,
That's better.
and then I'll try to walk. And I will just barely manage to walk properly. Wobbling around.
Martha, did you hire somebody else to clean? Is this your other butler?
Now, remember the guild mate.
You're not helping your cause. Is this another butler you have hired?
Well, there are small places that need to be cleaned in the handsome mansion, places that Charles just can't quite get to.
Well, no, we don't want to get into that. But is this your other butler?
I'm perfectly happy to clean whatever it is you want while I'm around.
You heard the gnome.
Is there any way we can get the greasy cloak off the dwarf? Because seriously, I'd love to take that to is there like a stream or something I could wash that in?
No, it's fine the way it is.
It's really not, but you're trying.
I'm gonna go back to the undead, and Komar turns and leaves.
So before you can leave, Brevin motions like, what? We have a matter to discuss.
What matter?
Well,
What matter are we discussing?
we were meant to be traveling to the lightning rail to be able to get to the Tower of the 12 as I had promised you.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that was the whole us saving your family and everything. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I remember now.
Right. He kind of grits his teeth as he mentioned that. Uh, anyways, it seems that we are at somewhat of an impasse since the cart was destroyed and my men killed by that bullet. And so I've looked around the mansion while you guys were off gallivanting into that ghost's lair. And I haven't found any sort of caravan or means of travel in order to get to where we need to go. So I was wondering if anybody had any ideas that don't involve us walking.
Well, how far is the walk?
Well, I believe it is at least 30 miles, perhaps a bit more.
A pittance.
You're a soldier, man. What's 30 miles to you? You traveled all over this damn country.
Indeed, I have, and when I've needed to, I have walked. But in my advancing years and based on circumstances, I feel like if there is a potential for us to walk or to travel by a means other than walking, it would be preferable.
Well, how did you get here, new guy?
I walked.
Right.
Brian, is it? Isn't there like a bullet you could ride?
Well,
I think he's talking to you, Brevin.
Oh, that's right. You, Colmar, animated that thing, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that could work.
Right.
There are-
It will do a very good job of protecting the mansion. Yes. I would suggest we draw a picture of maybe the house Deneath on some parchment and send our gnome friend out, and he can flag down the next caravan that goes by, because I'm sure they pass by here all the time. You know, unless they've broken down or something has happened. You know.
We could do that.
um,
There is also not far from the mansion, the remains of the caravan that we were using are still there. There might be potential to repair that, although we would also need horses to pull it.
how far is the town from here again?
So you guys are. Let me pull up the map. So you guys are kind of right in the middle between Ironside and Steel Town. So it's probably about 30 miles in either direction.
Gotcha.
Well, fixing up some carts that you don't have horses to pull, unless we're going to use the bullet for that, doesn't seem to make much sense to me. So why don't you give me whatever it is I'm looking for, and I'll go flag down somebody passing by.
Hmm. If only there was a way I could reach my contacts in House Orion. They would be more than happy to pick up me and Charles.
Well, you can put that, draw that on parchment too. He kept 2 flags.
I can do that.
So Brevin begins writing on some parchment a note requesting assistance, and he goes and pulls a candle off of the mantle and folds the note up, pours some wax over it, and seals it with a special signet ring that he carries that identifies him as one of the Sentinel Marshals.
Careful with that candle. You get it too close to the dwarf's cloak and grease fire.
You're funny, gnome. What is your name again?
Don't ask him.
My name's Eivar Thambarrskelfar Santiar. It's spelled the way it sounds.
I'll be calling you Eivar.
Fair enough, boss.
Martha hands him a note to also bring by. It says this. Help.
What did it say below? Help? I couldn't.
Says
Help Orion.
heed me.
Heed me.
Short, sweet, and to the point. Dear lad, if you see any of House Orion out there, hand them this, and they will know exactly what to do.
All right, I'll check back in a couple hours if nothing comes along.
Sounds good. We will find a room for you, perhaps a closet. Which
Well, I don't need much room. Closet will do. You giants tend to have big closets anyway. And then he falls over trying to walk on his stilts. So
All right. So as Ivor goes out to search for some passing caravan, merchant trading, whatever, what are the rest of you doing in the interim? Elmorn, what have you been up to while this new character has come into the handsome mansion and all of that?
Studying him from afar, trying to discern if he's truly from McCormick's Folly. I'm a little bit wary of strangers, but the note seems genuine enough, and I didn't feel any ill intent when he arrived. Also, I was not here because my wife was bugging me about something.
Fair enough.
I'm going to send Ruger out to watch him. Make sure nothing happens.
Okay. And then Martha, what are you going to be doing?
I'm going to be studying my self-portrait over the fire.
Okay.
I'm just going to gaze at it. Looking at it, I noticed that the fingertips, a couple of my fingertips are starting on the picture are starting to blacken a little bit, slightly. It almost seems like my eyes are playing tricks on me, but I can discern that.
Okay.
So that's why I'm looking at it, because I'm not sure.
So Brevin notices you looking so intently at the picture as he's taken up residence in the living space as well, although he is writing letters, it appears, to possibly to send to his men back at Carlacton the minute that you guys get into town, prior to boarding the lightning rail. And Brevin looks over and says, "What is it that you're staring at?"
This picture is the most peculiar thing. Does anything on it seem off to you?
Brevin gives a hard look. And though he squints and even gets up to examine it, he turns back to you and says, "Nothing at all. It seems perfectly normal to me. Actually, a fairly decent likeness. The artist must have been quite talented."
Yes, Charles has many talents.
That was Charles that did that. Oh my, I had no idea he was a warrior as well as a artist.
The best warriors are. Some prefer to draw blood than with paints, but Charles enjoys both, or at least he used to. No, tell me, do you see anything on the hands?
Is it something that others can perceive, or is this something that just Martha can perceive?
This is something that just Martha can perceive.
Okay. So then Brevin really tries to search to be able to confirm whatever suspicion that you have, but in the end he shrugs and says, "I see nothing of concern in this portrait. What is it that you seem to be worried about with the hands, you say?"
It is nothing. It is nothing of importance. And I'll just turn away, and I kind of walk upstairs.
Okay. Well, very well, sir. And then Brevin goes back to writing his notes. Eivar, give me a percentile.
27.
Okay. So you're making your way out. You get quite a distance away from the handsome mansion, to the point where it even disappears against the horizon. And eventually you do see some travelers walking over. They do have a cart and a horse pulling it.
I'll run over to them.
Okay. So the people walking and riding along on the cart signal to the driver, and he goes, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" And you see a little girl, or not a little girl, but a woman who is fairly petite, but also aged with wrinkles. Her clothes are not the best kept, and she says, "Oi, who are you?"
My name's Eivar Thambarrskelfar Santiar. My employers are looking for a caravan. Are you from House Denise or Orion?
Oh, we are nothing of the sort. We have no such house or such luxury. Clearly, can you not see the cart that we use? This is, and the horse, it is barely able to make any kind of progress on this cart.
I mean, I'm sure they're willing to pay. Would you be willing to take them to the lightning rails?
Hey. Huh. In what league are the hey
In what
or
way?
how, sorry, my that is slaying of the people that I stay with. How much?
They're the bosses. I got no idea how much coin they got on them. I mean, whatever a standard transportation fee would be, I didn't even know where the lightning rails are from here. Come back to the mansion they live in. I'm sure you could negotiate a fee that you'd be happy with.
So she excuses herself to speak with her husband, who's driving the cart. And Ivar you can overhear that they could definitely use the money, and it's pretty clear from their clothing and everything that they're not very well off. And then the lady comes back to you and says, "Oi, you've got a deal. Where is it that we are to go?"
All right, back with you. Never mind the non-stealthy zombie bullet that's been stalking me. I assume it's not hidden.
Oh, this guy's a funny one, is he?
But I'll just point in the direction of the mansion. So on over that way.
All right, so they follow in the direction that you provide, and then eventually this family comes up to the gates of the handsome mansion.
Hold on here. I'll run inside and get someone who can negotiate a fee. And I'll go back in.
Okay.
Run past Charles again. Look for one of the four main people.
So Martha's upstairs. Colmar's in back.
Let's roll a d4 to see which one you get.
3.
You find Colmar. He's the first one you see.
Hey, what's your name again? Omar? Listen, I found a card. It's not Denise and it's not Orion, but it's a family that's willing to negotiate a fee to take you to the lightning rails.
All right, ET, just show me where they're at.
So lead them outside, out to the gates.
Okay. All right, so Colmar heads out there in his greasy cloak, covered in grease. Goes out and sees the cart.
As
I
we
guess.
walk, you see Ivar puts on a very large, like circular contraption. He fixes it on his head. No rain.
In my head, I imagine it like the colander from Ghostbusters on Louis Tully.
I picture it sort of like that too, with like little balls that connect the things and like a little spinning part for the wind.
What is that?
It's a weather detector. Lets me know what the weather's going to be like for like the next 8 hours or so. I was hoping for some immediate rain for your cloak, but no luck.
So actually, what you do detect something in the weather when you put that on. You get the sense that snow is on the way.
Well, slightly worse. There's going to be some snow.
And which makes sense because you guys have been kind of in the fall season, moving towards winter, and winter has come.
Mhm.
Do I act like that there's going to be wind? Is this going to be like a storm? Or just
It's not going to be a storm or anything. Probably just a light snow, but the chill is growing in the air, and Karnath is very well known for its harsh winters.
Where did you get that?
Oh, I built it. My own design.
Well, Komar is definitely intrigued. Okay, so I go up to the cart. Was an old woman and a man?
Yeah, and it looks like at least one child. And she says, "Oi, are you the ones that are going to pay?"
I guess. What are we paying for?
Well, the little one with some long name just kind of said that there was somebody that needed a ride to the lightning rail.
Yeah, we need a lift. We need a lift to the right lightning rail.
Okay, then. Well, I suppose, how many of you?
Five?
Oh, come on now. Do you not see the cart that we have? We can't accommodate so many people.
Are those wheels properly greased? Probably not.
There's just not enough space.
How many could the cart fit?
Well, it's loaded up with all of their belongings. It seems like they're probably traveling, moving to a new area.
So yeah,
Um,
Komar walks up and looks in the back and is like, "This stuff's just a bunch of junk. You could get rid of this. This isn't necessary. Just throw this stuff out."
Hey, now, those are our possessions. We worked hard for them.
Oh, yeah, I think he got ripped off.
So what was the answer to my question?
Sorry, what was your question?
How many?
How many could fit in the cart?
Oh, so probably only 2 or 3 of you,
Well,
and it would be a squeeze.
well, Peitri is out of commission apparently, so and then we had to take Brevin. Oh god. Right.
Yeah, he at least counts for 2.
I'll just whisper. If all this stuff is just trivia for you, you can just tell them to dump it and pay them. But how many gold pieces worth of stuff is this?
They, you see the family looking at each other and saying, "These are everything that we own, so
Wait a second.
100 gold pieces."
I'll tell you what.
I'm not really a good whisperer. That's one of my big problems.
So I'm going to grab one of their boxes of miscellaneous things in the back and pick it up and say, "I'll be right back. If I'm not back in 15 minutes, you can have the short one." And I'm going to go back in the house.
Hey, is he stealing our stuff? Little one.
Oh, he's seriously, Dad. He's stealing your crap.
Oh, you're a rude lot.
So I go back into the mansion and I was like, "Baba, where are you at?"
Slowly the ghost manifests not too far away from you, going, "Ugh. What do you want?"
What do you think of
Or-
this stuff right here?
That stuff is
Interesting?
garbage.
Well, no, it's not. Doesn't it look interesting, fascinating?
Yet, not even a little.
Not at all?
Is this what you bothered me for? Wow, my accents are all over the place. I can't.
It's okay. It's
I thought you fell right back into Baba quite well, actually.
yeah. Well, I mean, we really didn't bother you since, we took care of your kobold problem that I recall that we did when, you were killed by one. I don't know how. But none of these trinkets and knickknacks and worthless junk interest you? Somebody like you?
Is no value to me. I see nothing worthwhile.
Crap. Okay. So I yell for Elmorn.
All right.
Omar, I am confused. What is it
Elmorn.
that you are asking for?
Elmorn enters the room. What's going on?
We have a cart, but it's kind of broken down with a bunch of crap in it. So we can either take a ride, pay these people, or just wait for another cart. And Baba isn't interested in their crap.
What if I just didn't ride in the cart? Would that be enough room? I've got Blaze.
Well, that's true. I guess you could.
How much junk are we talking here?
Oh, wait. Perhaps there is another way. You need cart. Sounds like cart is too small with family. Is that it?
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe you might be interested in the cart and all the stuff. And then you could, I don't know, grant them a wish or whatever you people do.
Omar, I am Ghost. Ghost of Sphinx. I do not grant wishes. I barely know what I can do with this so-called life that I exist in. I am just beginning my understandings of whatever this is. You overestimate my power.
Well, anyway, they're outside.
But you need courts short term.
Yeah, you're not going to go out there and possess their bodies or something, are you?
I do not think I can do that. But perhaps you can allow them to maybe stay here temporarily while you go use their cart and travel, bring it back. I can watch them, make sure they cause no trouble. If they cause trouble, I can scare them. And then they go away.
Leave the watching to Charles. You just stay hidden.
That works too. Make them offer of gold and allow them to stay while you use their cart.
How much gold do you think we should offer them?
Gold and the services of a butler.
Martha gonna come downstairs, like kind of looking solemn. Baba, who summoned you here? What's going on? I hear this talk of gold, and my ears were perking.
Seems you need advice in dealing with these people with their cart that you need.
Vice, how much gold did they want?
100 gold pieces.
Ah, let me take a look at the cart. Martha walks out and says, so this is your cart.
Yeah? And?
What are your names?
My name's Daria, and this is my husband, Max.
Max Diarrhea. Sounds like a lovely couple. So, how many people can this cart fit again?
With the family and their belongings, only another 2 or possibly 3 if it's like Eivar.
If you take out the belongings, how many people can fit?
You'd have maybe room for 2 more people.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. We have extreme need of a cart to get to the Tower of the 12.
To the Tower of the 12. That is hundreds of miles away.
Yes, but we're taking the lightning rail there.
Oh, so you just need to get to Steelside.
Yes. So, unfortunately, with your stuff, there's just not enough room for all of us to fit. How would you like to stay here, attended by my butler, whilst we borrow your cart? And then when Brevin can bring it back, and you can be on your merry way. While you are here, you will have the full services of Charles, presuming that you don't ask him anything that is unreasonable or puts him or the Hansen Mansion in danger. Also, you will have the illustrious company of Baba, and I'll let him do the introductions. I wouldn't want to ruin it for him.
You see Daria and Max kind of look at each other and look at you. And then Daria's like, that mansion.
Yes. This mansion. It's the Handsome Mansion.
This isn't a weird sex thing, is it?
Does it need to be?
No, we have children.
Well, that's a result.
As far as I know, there's no weird sex going on in this house that I don't know about.
So
be good.
the couple takes a minute to kind of discuss. And they say, and what is our compensation for this endeavor?
Well, you get a place to stay for a couple days, a honeymoon away from home, if you will. You will have a butler to attend to your needs, as long as your needs are within reason. And
A properly greased cart.
yeah, yes, Komar will rub himself on your cart, and it'll be fully greased.
It won't be the
It's
first
all
time.
well and good, but maybe we're on a schedule. Maybe this puts us out.
I highly doubt you're on a schedule if you're carrying all your belongings in this raggedy cart. It's not like you're bringing anything anywhere.
Hey, you don't know our life. You have no right to judge. Maybe we're on our way to Steelside to find new opportunities. You know, with all the things going on with the that weird explosion and everything over on Ironside and all these strange things going on.
Well, think about this. Who's to say we even come back from this little trip? And then who's to say you don't own the handsome mansion?
The couple takes a minute to confer with themselves and say they then return and say, is it stocked with food and drink?
All the food and drink you can want.
Okay, deal.
Great.
So they start unloading their belongings and carrying them over to the handsome mansion. Charles also helping in the process. After a few minutes, the cart is cleared and it can comfortably fit all of you, including Peitri, who is still not feeling well, but is well enough at least to ride with you, while Elmorn rides on Blaze beside you guys.
I tell Charles, keep them out of my room.
Yes, sir. Very good.
So how does the cart look after it's been properly greased? So is the cart a rickety old cart?
Yeah, it's definitely not the standard of craftsmanship that you're used to.
Right. So I go up and sidle up next to Brevin and said, so where are we putting the House Dania symbol on this? So you want it on the back or the side or all sides?
Do we really have time to be going on about this? Let's just get going.
I agree with Brevin.
Okay. I mean, just want to make sure our wheels are properly marked, you know, such a fine cart we have here. I want to...
New guy, Eivar.
Yeah,
Can you fight?
I'm a pretty mean shot with my bow, and I'm decent with a sword.
You still wearing that hat?
Glad to hear it.
I took that
Yeah,
off.
are you still wearing the hat?
I took the contraption off my head.
All right, never mind. Glad to hear you just don't deliver letters. I have no use for that around here.
And I whisper to Elmorn, and he controls the weather.
And I just look at you very confused. But I expect the road ahead won't be smooth. A few bumps along the way.
That's for sure.
Cold?
It's gonna snow later on today
See what I mean?
How would you know that?
because I have a weather sensing device that I built myself, my own design. Superior to your typical gnomish weather sensing devices in many ways. Except it's a little heavy. The one problem with it, I suppose.
Another crazy one. Don't have just one short crazy guy. Now I have two.
Yeah, Peitri's a handful.
Speaking of Peitri, are we going to leave him here? Or are we going to carry his body?
He's in the cart.
Yep. He's laying right on the spare tire.
Oh.
Yeah, Charles helped him out to the cart, and he immediately passed out the minute that he was situated.
I guess I was a little preoccupied. All good.
All right, so after Colmar's inspection of the cart to make sure it's going to hold up, I assume, Colmar, you're going to be the one driving the cart?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. And then, Elmorn, you'll be riding Blaze beside the cart?
Prefer to be outside the cart after our last experience.
How's
This is where I'm most comfortable anyway.
How's this horse look?
Blaze? Or their horse? Oh, okay.
Their horse, yeah.
Their horse, it is pretty malnourished. You can see its ribs. It's pretty sickly. It's missing patches of fur.
So you're saying it's pretty close to death?
Probably.
That's outstanding. I'm ready to go.
I go. Martha sees this and goes into the pantry and grabs a handful of apples, and he walks up to the horse and gives him one.
The horse hungrily nibbles it away.
So that's a good boy. You'll get the rest of these when we reach Steelside.
As you guys are preparing to leave, you hear a scream from the mansion. As the woman shouts, "They have a bath!"
I poke Colmar and say, "You hear that? There's a bath in there."
Yep.
Maybe try it next time.
What are you trying to say, E.T.?
Just trying to say, not everything has to be covered in cream.
All right.
All right, so you guys start heading towards Steeltown.
One quick thing. Right before Martha leaves, he looks back at his portrait and studies, like from afar, studies the hand, and doesn't see what he saw earlier.
Okay.
And then he just rushes out the door.
So Brevin kind of eyes you and asks, "Are you okay?"
Yes, I'm fine. No worries. We must get going.
You seem spooked or worried.
Yeah, it's nothing. Just keep an eye on that painting for me, okay?
How do you propose I do that while I'm traveling with you?
Well, you're coming back here, right?
You need me personally to escort you to the 12. They only let dragon-marked house members in.
So how are we getting the cart back here?
Well, if need be, when we get to Steeltown, we can pay the services of a courier of some sort to bring the cart back.
Or I could kill the horse and then just send it back here, because then it would know where to go.
If you want to be so grisly, that's an option, I suppose. Though I don't know if normal people are going to be okay knowing that they have an undead horse.
Have you seen some of the shit that goes down around here? I think that's the least of their problems.
Yes, I know.
You have a bullet that's guarding the grounds. Don't you need to instruct it not to kill the new people?
It'll be fine. It won't bother them.
That's actually a fair point, Ivar. Colmar, how can we assure that these people will be safe
The
if
bullet
they leave
protects
the grounds.
the bullet protects the grounds.
Right, and if their kids go outside to play,
All right, Colmar gets off the cart and walks back inside to give instructions to the bullet in the back.
Okay.
And
Give me a charisma check to see how well the bullet understands.
charisma check.
He's
Golly.
gonna charm that bullet.
You can add your proficiency bonus.
14.
Okay. To your perception of the situation, the bullet understands well enough.
Good. We've been working together for a while. So as I go back, I imagine I'm going out. Like I go in the front, go out the back, and then come back the same way. And as I come out the front door, I have a pristine white cloak on as I walk up and get back on the cart.
that looks very snappy.
You like that?
Eivar approves.
Good. And then I immediately make it change, and it looks like it's got grease all over it.
Ah.
All right, so you guys begin heading to Steel Town. Along the way, the chills seems to grow more fierce. The winds begin picking up. You kind of find yourself either shivering a bit or pulling your robes, clothes a little bit tighter around you to keep in the warmth. And the snow begins to fall lightly at first, but it does pick up a bit, and it is sticking, so it's building up on the ground. You can see the horse shivering, but it continues to move forward and do its job faithfully, as it has done for however long it's been in service to the family. After a couple of hours, you do see Irontown in the distance. It's a larger town than Ironside. Steeltown has several taller buildings that seem to be packed together a bit more closely than in Ironside. There are a number more people walking about to and fro, an open market that is starting to actually load up the wares, it seems, due to the weather, as they begin preparing for winter and things of that nature, moving the markets more indoors. So with it being a larger type of metropolitan town, there are a couple of options that you guys have prior to leaving on the Lightning Rail. You do go to the Lightning Rail station to inquire about tickets and schedules, and as you get up there, you find that you have probably an hour before the next Lightning Rail comes through to take customers and or passengers. So you guys have a little bit of time to yourself to do things. Brevin arranges with a courier to take back the horse and carriage to the family, and then also excuses himself to a House Orion post office to conduct some House Deneath business.
Colmar takes out his Steeltown pamphlet, and he's looking at it to see what exciting things are in here. Well,
there are a couple. there actually is a show involved. It's not quite. It's like a House Fearland knockoff show. So think a Hodunk version of Cirque du Soleil.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
I'm listening. I'm listening.
There's also the markets, as I mentioned. There are armories where you can purchase weapons and items and knickknacks. And there's an apothecary in town. So it's a larger metropolitan town, so there's a lot of options in terms of how you might want to spend your time while you're waiting for the lightning rail if you guys had any business to conduct of your own.
Are there any good gnomish restaurants?
No gnomish restaurants specifically, although there is one place that's kind of like a gnomish elven fusion.
Hey guys, we should go there. We should go get something to eat before we leave. You know, food on a train is always terrible.
Oh, that's the first thing you said all day. That makes sense. I concur. Shall we grab some elvish gnome fusion?
Peitri can guard the cart.
He's like, yeah, guys, I'm fine. Wait, it's moving. And then that's when the courier comes to bring the cart back.
Are we leaving Peitri on the cart?
I feel
Or are
like
we like carrying him through the streets?
Yeah,
He
it's
can,
kinda like-
he can ride on Blaze while I walk.
Okay.
So he's able to stumble off the cart himself with an extreme lack of grace. And then with Elmorn's help manages to get over the side of Blaze, where he once again becomes kind of limp and just passes out.
There you go. How's the elbow?
And then I think this is a good place to take a break. 5 minutes, guys.
Okay, that works.
Sounds good.
Cool.
I gotta go get some elvish gnome fusion anyway. How you doing, Anno?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Oh. Been a little bit of a longer week. Late nights and early mornings.
Yeah, I feel you. So, I think my boss is going to try and like. I feel like they want me to be working 45 hours a week, but I don't have 45 hours a week worth of work to do. So it just bothers me that they're even going to have this conversation with me.
Like he wants you to be billing 45 hours a week?
Yeah, because they get money for it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I don't have 45 hours a week of work.
I mean,
it annoys me.
Usually they set that kind of thing in the contracts that they have with clients. And, they say we're going to charge for, 40 hours a week, and this is the rate and all that. And you go over that.
Well, they never told me that, but now all of a sudden we're supposed to have this meeting or whatever. I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Everything okay with work?
Yeah. It's fine. I don't know. I don't want to be a programmer anymore.
We lost Peter.
Hmm.
I think it was food sickness from the gnome elven people.
I ordered the Limbus bread, and all I got was some, like a slice of bread on top of a gear. It's not the gnomish Asian, the gnomish elven fusion I was hoping for.
Komar would like that one.
What?
I think Komar would like that dish. 3 beers with your lembas bread.
Oh man.
I might have to take a little second break when I have to celebrate my winning $700 million.
It's the Powerball.
Yeah.
The Powerball tonight or something.
Yes. I can do it after. I can celebrate after.
Good luck. You're not in Illinois, right? Because they won't pay you.
No, I'm in Tennessee.
Now, Illinois passed their budget now, so people are finally getting paid.
It's a multi-state lottery, so there's a commission that collects the money. The state of Illinois doesn't have direct access to it until it gets paid out.
Nice. Well, if you win, is one of your first purchases going to be a solid gold dice set?
Well, there's the $22,000 mammoth tusk set that I could get, 2,200 or something. If I win 700 million, I will inquire into getting an actual Moonrock set of dice.
I mean, you kind of have to at that point.
Has anyone heard from Peter?
Mm-mm.
So I've actually started eating salad.
I saw your Facebook post.
How's that working out for you?
You know, I'm actually enjoying it because unless it's like chopped really fine, I can't get into salad. The only salads I have ever enjoyed previously was from this place called Foodstuffs in the Merchandise Mart when I was going to grad school. So it's been a legit 5 years since I've eaten salad. But I got this salad chopping thing that lets me do it similarly to how they made theirs. And it's not bad.
Legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might make it past 50 yet.
Sometimes salads are really good. Apparently solid gold dice don't exist. Or at least a dice set doesn't exist.
I imagine
Probably
solid.
custom made.
Yeah. But I imagine solid gold dice would be pretty poor dice because gold is so malleable.
Yep.
So it'd have to be mixed with something.
I'll just get like gold gilding around my ruby dice.
What we need to do is invest in the dice that Tony has. He's rolling crits like crazy in Monday.
Yeah, I don't know. I know those were like new dice he just bought at Gen Con. But I didn't recall once he started rolling well, I was trying to remember what the dice were made of. They were in some way special. I remember that because he mentioned it at the start.
And then he was also rolling them in his new dice box too.
Right.
Oh, by the way, I just ordered an HTC Vive. I'm super excited for it to get here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is your basement going to become your dragon's lair now?
Yes.
More
No,
so
dude.
than it already is.
What is it that you got?
An HTC Vive.
I'm not sure what that is.
It's a VR headset. Okay, but it's like a whole room VR setup that you got to do. I'm gonna show you this video real quick. You don't have to watch something, but it's gonna be one of the first games I get because it looks hilarious. It looks like a lot of fun.
Peter just got back to me. He said that he's having router issues, but he's restarting it now.
It's not gonna be a dungeon lair. It's gonna be my gladiator arena. I'm so excited.
What?
Just wait for him to fight the first person or the first thing.
That's so weird that you have to swing your arms in order to walk.
Yeah, but
Oh my god. He's humping the dude.
I can't wait to play it, dude. All right, Peter's back.
All right. That's strange and awesome.
I can't wait to do all of that in VR.
All right, so you guys experience a little bit of elven, gnomish fusion as you wait for Brevin and the trains to board and everything. So you get, by the time that you're about 15 minutes from boarding time, you get back to the station. And you go up to the window to get your tickets. Do you want the private suites, or do you want general like general passenger?
How much are the private suites?
Doesn't matter. It's on Brevin's dime.
Oh, it's private then.
I'll have the private suites. There's no reason to sit in general. We don't have to.
And we can get private seats and still sit in general. Get the best of both worlds.
Private it is then.
All right. So you see when you're standing on the station, it looks kind of similar to a normal outdoor train station with the elevated platform, but instead of the track of what a normal train that we're used to would run on, it looks like these giant kind of trapezoidal stones are there, and they're huge, and each one has pretty consistent arcs of electricity flowing around them. The train pulls in, and you can see that the train is somehow, because of this current running through these conductor stones, it actually repels against the bottom of the train with such force that it kind of floats over, and the conductors have these these air elementals that they utilize to create the thrust to drive the train. And so the train comes in, a few cars pull up, and then after a moment, as the train comes to a full stop, the train, the conductor stones slowly reduce the arcs of lightning that kind of shoot around them, and the train lowers until it's grounded. And at that point, you see people exit, and conductors are waving individuals who are coming to board the train, checking tickets. And so you all get on board because you have a private suite. You have a conductor that personally escorts you to your private suite. And I don't think any of you have any bags or anything, but if you did, they would be willing to take them and stow them. So it looks similarly to what a normal passenger train looks like. It's about each car is about 25 feet wide, about 60 feet long, with benches lining the train where people sit sporadically. You guys go past that a couple of carts down, and are invited to your own private suite where you guys can gather with a nice window view of the outside and your own private storage bins above you and then also under your seating. And not far behind you is the dining car and some other general cargo cars.
The diving car?
Dining.
Oh, dining.
Yeah. And then as everybody finishes boarding, you hear the slight whine as the current begins to fill back up from the conductor stones, causing the train to raise up, and you feel that. And then there is a gentle push as the train begins to accelerate, and a slight smell of ozone that is kind of an after effect. The motion of the train is quite smooth as it runs along the track of conductor stones and is pretty soothing, actually. And you see the town go by fairly quickly, and then you are left with the Carnathi landscape in the distance that is primarily plains with some sparse trees here and there and the mountains running by in the distance.
As the train starts to take off and the motion sets us forward and everything, and all the noise and the movement, Egg is roused from his nap into my sack. That sounds really bad. Anyway, Egg crawls out of my little sack, and he salutes me, and I salute him back, and then he just crawls up and perches on my shoulder, just kind of looking around, like, wow. And then he notices. I'm guessing we have a window, some way we can see all this. So he notices everything going by really fast. So then he just kind of stares outside.
What is Egg? What does it look like?
Egg is my companion. Where you have a pic of him handy?
Yeah, I'm getting it. Loading.
I don't even remember how I came across Egg. All I remember is that
I don't have him. Where did he
I have
go?
it. I'll get it. Do you remember how I got Egg? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was a boon when you guys had those firestones that when Colmar investigated them with the Identify exploded and caused that those visions, but one of them was actually Egg, and at least I think that's what happened.
He just latched to me for whatever reason. Here he is. That's Egg.
I can see why you didn't describe him.
The best part is the Yoke's face for me. That's the best part.
He doesn't look very happy.
He's quite expressive though. For an Egg.
Right.
Yeah, Elmore almost lost it when he fell into the eel pit and thought that he had lost egg down there.
Yeah. Gave me a heart attack.
All right, so you guys have some time on the train. Was there anything that you guys wanted to do while you're traveling?
I mean, I have my boots, my weather sensing device, and my lamp that all need maintenance, daily maintenance to keep them working. So I'll work on those
Okay.
and make sure my lamp is fully wound.
So is it obvious that you're doing maintenance on this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I make sure that you know that I can provide any grease. If there's parts that need to be greased, I can handle it.
I'm right at that. So I'll keep it.
And whatever our next destination is, I pull out one of those pamphlets that I've been storing, the trifold pieces of paper, study what the next town is going to be.
All right, so you guys are on your way. The next stop is going to be
What is it going to be?
Volyar.
Okay.
It is a town that is just about bordering on the edge between Karnath and the Talenta Plains, which are known for their halfling tribes of barbarians who ride dinosaurs. And that is a trek that is going to so it's going to take about 13 hours for you guys to get from Steel Town to Volyar. Then the plan is that you will be going from Volyar. You'll be commissioning a caravan through House Orion to use their travel route to Vedikar. And from there, you'll get back on the lightning rail to Atter, where Kolmar really wanted to check out the city of the dead. And then finally, Korth, you'll be able to get to the Tower of the 12.
Sounds like we have a lot of traveling to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
I ask Martha if he's okay. He's been less jovial than usual. I'm usually the one brooding. What's wrong with you, Martha?
I appreciate the concern, Warren, but I feel fine. It's nothing. And I'm like, he's kind of like wringing his hands and like particularly paying attention to his the fingertips, just kind of rubbing them.
Brevin notices you rubbing your fingertips and says, what's wrong with your hands? Are they getting too cold?
I hope not. I saw back at the mansion, my painting it looked like the fingertips are blackening. And I'm not sure if what I saw was real. But when I returned, right before we left, they looked normal again. I'm just concerned. The angel-faced creature did have a profound effect during our last meeting with it.
So Brevin kind of starts in and says, "Angel-faced creature."
Yes. Have you not listened to any of the words we've told you regarding our adventures in Fort Deep Dark?
Oh, yes. I remember you had mentioned something along those lines.
Yes,
So,
well, this thing, this beast, it's unsettlingly dangerous. It's made of pure chaos. And we must figure out how to track it down and remove it before Fort Deep Dark happens on a much wider scale. And that is why we need to go to the Tower of the 12.
well, as I promised, I'll make sure that you get there, but in the meantime, it might be wise to find a way to settle your nerves. If you're starting to see things, that's probably a sign of some unsettling anxiety of some sort.
Reverend, you're absolutely right. And then I get up and I go to the dining car and I come back with a bottle of whiskey. And I also have a few glasses, one for everybody. And I grab one and I pour myself a hefty pour.
You know, it's not commonly served, but they do have it on the dining cart. They do have some stone piss.
Oh, yeah, forget the whiskey. Stone piss is all I need to calm my nerves. So, rolling it back, I got a liter of stone piss.
Enough to kill 12 oxen.
I place a hand over my glass and say, I never touch this stuff.
You don't know what you're missing, Eivar.
You're right, because I've never touched the stuff, so I don't really know.
Brevin says, I'll have just a sip. I don't want to lose my senses. And then he passes it to Colmar.
I'll take some. It's not gray water, but it's close enough.
It's not rainwater?
Gray water.
Ah.
So the first probably 2 hours of the trip go by rather uneventfully. You see the snow starting to pick up outside, but these carts seem to be heated. If you look closely at the floorboard where where the floor meets the wall, in that corner there seems to be a ring that traces around the carts where a fire elemental is bound, which helps control the heat of the cart to make sure that it's a comfortable temperature for everybody.
Is that common knowledge?
It's generally known, yeah. I mean, it's something that has been pioneered by the gnomes of Largo, with the binding of elementals, without which the dragon marked houses would have great difficulty manufacturing their various ships that they use, because the elementals serve as a pretty significant power source. But yeah, the general engineering of those kind of luxuries and the general idea of how these machines work is pretty common knowledge. Anything more specific in terms of exactly, for example, how one pilots or drives the lightning rail, or like an elemental airship or water ship or something like that, that's much less common knowledge.
Okay.
All that is known is that it requires somebody, generally driving these things requires somebody that actually possesses the dragon mark relevant to whatever manner of propulsion or navigation is required.
Okay.
So, as the hours go by, everybody give me a perception check.
Oh man. It's 8.
8.
Kurt, isn't that what you got too?
I got a 10
Oh.
because I'm very keen on it.
Anno, what'd you get? Did we lose Anno? He might be having trouble with his wife again.
Good thing she doesn't watch these recordings.
Yeah, I heard you, and yes, it actually was that. Sorry about that. Well, perception check, is that what you said?
Yes.
Let's see. 19.
All right. Message coming your way, Anno.
Ooh.
I got a 10 without drinking.
Hmm. Okay. You guys see Elmorn kind of tense up.
Something the matter.
I'm not sure yet. Thought I saw something, but going that fast doesn't make any sense.
Oh, at least
It's talk as if you had to drink, Elmore.
I haven't drank anything. You know I don't drink.
I'll take out my bow and just lay it across my lap.
Yeah, Good idea, new guy. Be on guard, everyone. Something's amiss. Like I said, it wouldn't be a smooth ride.
We should be safe. We have Brevin with us.
I'm feeling pretty good. Everything's great.
Brevin notices Martha and asks, "How much have you had to drink?"
A leader?
Jesus, man, your liver.
My liver was born to consume stone piss.
Okay, so Martha was inebriated, so you'll have some interesting checks coming up.
He can even stand.
Everybody, give me another perception check. This one is at advantage, except for Martha, who is at disadvantage.
I'm at what?
Disadvantage.
Damn it.
11.
I had a net 22. It's a 7.
I don't.
18.
What's that?
18.
Okay. Message coming your way, Kurt and Anu.
Oh, be right back.
Are the fire elementals or elemental sentient beings?
That is a debated question. There are people that believe they are sentient and that binding elementals is no better than binding any living creature into servitude. But most people seem to be of the mindset that they are nothing more than living embodiments of these primal forces, which, is no different than harnessing electricity for power or wind or solar or anything like that.
What are you explaining right now?
Kolmar asked if the elementals are sentient.
Oh, okay, yeah. And did Kurt say anything about what we saw?
No, not yet.
The email yet.
Oh, I sent it as a GChat message.
Oh, I see.
You didn't hear the ding? Komar is contemplating these things. That's why he hasn't seen anything.
How do
Wanna
I
give-
access the G-chat messages?
What's that?
How do I access the G-chat messages?
I'll just send an email.
I was just on my email page and it popped up for me, so. For my Gmail page.
So how close was it? Like right by the window, or
Yeah.
10 feet
Yeah.
away?
No, it was like grazing by within inches.
So I'll jump up with that and move back against the wall, away from the window.
Okay.
Everybody, get ready. There's something outside.
It looked
Yeah.
like
No.
That's
What was
kind of
that?
super vague.
what was that that grease robot? Robot that fell in that pile of grease. What was his name? Oh, the Warforged.
Brevin goes, you mean Stencil?
Yeah,
it
one of
looked
your
like
crack
him.
lieutenants.
It looked like Stencil, but with wings.
Yeah, I saw what looked like an armored man-sized object flow out a window.
Maybe they're guards for the train.
Moments later, you hear a loud crash and a rumble that travels through the entire train and causes the train to jerk, potentially knocking everybody off balance. Everybody give me a dexterity check. Martha at disadvantage.
An acrobatic.
Obviously, some improperly greased gears. Hey, a natural one.
Wow.
I got a 22.
I got a 4.
22 if it's an athletics check. It's a 19 dexterity check. Or acrobatics checking.
Yeah, you can use acrobatics if you want to. Athletics also could work.
Athletics?
Yeah.
It still doesn't matter. I got a 9 then.
Okay.
I have a 4.
So Martha, you stumble to the ground. Elmorn stumbles to the ground. The nimble gnome is able to keep his feet, as is Brevin. Kolmar smashes face first into the window, leaving a small crack and a bloody nose, taking 1 damage.
And leaving a grease stain like right there on the window.
Yeah. So Brevin is obviously very concerned and says, "What was that?"
So much for that idea about them being guards.
Has the train stopped moving, or is it still going?
It's still going, but it's like rumbling. The ride is no longer smooth. You can hear screeches, and there's more crashes, smaller than the first.
Knew we should have checked that insurance box.
So can we make it up the train to like the front?
Yeah, so you guys can definitely leave your private cart to go and see what's going on.
I'll go
All
ahead.
right. So I collect Egg because he's fallen off of my shoulder as well. I gently place him back into my pack.
Egg definitely looks up at you concerned before going into the sack.
Just keep a low profile.
And then
He salutes.
yeah. All right. So as you open the door, because these private carts are somewhat soundproofed, that's when you begin to hear the screaming of the passengers. And
Does it sound like terror or pleasure?
no, definitely terror.
Okay.
Mostly it's just a lot of people confused in the cart ahead of you. There are a lot of people that were thrown from the jerking motion and have been injured. So there's some people that are bleeding, some people that are unconscious, others grabbing their arms or shoulders in pain. Other people are attending to them as best they can. Lots of people are asking questions, what's going on? And then that's when some of them are trying to access the next cart because these are separate carts, and so there's the doorways to travel between the carts. As a couple of people begin to approach, one of the doors is knocked forward off of its hinges, and chaos ensues. It's a blur of motion, but what you can see is that the people that had tried to move towards that door have been slashed in a very grotesque manner. And as the motion calms down, you can see a large warforged coming through, and another one behind him. Each of these warforged are carrying blades, very large blades, and one of them actually seems to be covered in spikes.
The blade or the warforged?
The warforged.
Okay.
How big are they relative to the door? Like, if one of them got stuck in the doorway, could the other one get past?
No.
Well, then I would shoot a grasping arrow at the one in the doorway.
Okay.
Unless you want to roll for initiative first.
No, that's fine. You can do that, and then we'll roll for initiative.
It's a 24.
That's a hit.
So he has to, let's see. His speed is reduced by 10. He's probably immune to poison, but he's out of the arrow hits, and the arrow begins to sort of expand into like a mass of vines and chains that wrap around him.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to make a DC 14 athletics check in order to be able to move. Or he has to he has to use it. If he uses an action, he can clear all this with a DC 14 athletics check. Really, it's just if he moves, he'll take additional damage.
Okay.
Base damage, though, is he immune to poison?
It looks like it's less effective than you would expect.
Okay. He takes 12 poison damage and 10 arrow damage, piercing damage. His speed is reduced by 10, and if he moves, he'll take additional damage. Slashing damage. Or he could use his action to try to clear it with the DC 14 athletics check. I'll eventually have all this memorized.
You can fight.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
just look up and see ET quickly attack this thing and say, "You're much too competent to be in McCormick's Folly."
All right, so that first Warforged takes 12 poison damage, and then if he moves, he'll take additional damage, or he can use his action to clear it.
Right.
Okay. All right, so let's roll for initiative.
Golly.
18 initiative.
8.
These Warforged also rolled an 8.
13.
All right, so we got Elmorn, Eivar. What did you roll?
18. Yeah, 18.
Martha?
6.
All right, so Eivar, you're up. Elmorn on deck, and then Peter, roll initiative again.
Oh, a 1.
Okay. Warforged in the hole.
So I shoot 2 more arrows. The first one is 20. The second one is 15.
All right, the 20 hits.
Okay. So that one, as it hits, you see a sort of a fog forms around the head of the arrow and sort of shoots up towards the Warforged's eyes. You have to make a DC 14 wisdom save.
He fails.
He can only see 5 feet around him. He takes 8 piercing damage from the arrow and 6 psychic damage.
Okay. So he is really pissed off. He begins swiping kind of at the air in response. So Elmorn, you're up.
So if I
And then also just to give you guys some distance as well, within the cart. So once again, it's a 25 feet wide, 60 feet long, and you probably got 10 feet into the cart before the Warforged appeared. So, and there's also a bunch of people screaming, shouting, running around you. So it's pretty chaotic. So it's probably going to be considered rough terrain, trying to get around the people and the screaming chaos.
Okay, so how far are they from me? You said? I'm sorry.
About 50 feet.
So if I start moving towards him, am I in Ivar's way? He can't shoot anymore?
No, he'll be able to shoot.
Okay. Okay, then I start moving towards them, and oh, nice. I want to cast Bane.
Okay.
So up to 3 creatures of my choice that I can see.
That's a wisdom save?
Oh, yeah, it's a charisma save, but I guess it's 30-foot range, so I don't know if I can get close enough, can I?
If you want to spend an action point, you can increase the range.
Okay, I'll do that. So they have to make a charisma saving throw. And whenever a target that fails a saving throw makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target must roll a d4, subtract the number rolled from their attack or saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So, first one is a fail. Second one is a fail.
Sweet. You already deduct my action points in my spell slot for me?
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
I didn't know if you guys keep track of your
Oh, hell yeah. I
sheets
use
that
this
way.
thing all the time.
Awesome. So then I don't need to worry about you.
I mean, you could keep doing it.
All right. So then the Warforged are up. So that the one that has been affected by Ivar's arrows he's really pissed. He's basically there are a couple of people within 5 feet of him that he does see that are kind of, one is a woman that's kind of stunned in silence. He slashes her down. The other Warforged behind him shoves him out of the way, knocking him prone. And climbs over him to get into the room, and you can see him begin to slash into people all around him. Colmar, you're up. Marthau, you're on deck.
So wait. Which one is affected by Ivar's? I'm guessing the one that's not covered in spikes is the one covered in vines.
Right. The
Okay.
one that is in spikes is the one that pushed through.
Okay. And I don't know if you caught, I wanted to move towards them before I cast Bane.
Okay.
So how far am I able to get? Just half my movement? 15
We're not
feet?
going to say it's quite half. So we'll say you're able to get 20 feet closer. So
Oh.
they're about well, the one that moved past moved up about 10 feet. So now you're so that was 50, 40, 20. So you're only 20 feet away.
So did I really have to use an action point to increase the range then? Because he would have been within 30 feet.
No. So yeah, you're good. You can get that, give yourself that back.
All right, cool. Sorry.
No worries. All right. So then, Colmar, you're up. Marthau on deck.
All right. Well, I guess I'll hit this guy with acid arrow. If I can friggin' hit anything. Oh.
The guy in front, the one with the spikes.
Yeah, the
or
one that's
that's
cut.
prone?
The one that's cutting people down.
Okay.
Dang it. 16.
It's a miss.
All right. I will use.
But he still gets. Oh, you're gonna use action point.
Yep.
All right.
That's better. 23.
That hits.
All right. He takes 9. Let's see. He takes 9 acid damage this round.
Colmar, give me a perception check.
6.
All right, never mind. Martha, you're up. Ivory, you're on deck. Elmorn in the hole.
Is any of the warforged within melee grasp?
No. You are 40 feet away from the nearest one. And there's a bunch of screaming people in between you and them.
So I'm gonna drunkenly make my way through the screaming people, trying to hold on to my wits. And I'm gonna cast Hex on that Warforged, the nearest one.
Okay.
And I'm also I'm going to cast Hypnotic Pattern as well on the area, and like Marthal starts moving his hands around and kind of going with the flow, and everybody else, you can do checks for them, but I'm trying to calm down the crowd a little bit.
Oh, nice. That is definitely an effective spell given what is going on. So all the general lay people in the area seem to calm down and watch in kind of fascination at the display that you've created. But the Warforged, so that's a wisdom check, you said?
Yep.
They both fail as well.
So they're charmed. They have a speed of 0 and they're incapacitated. When they take damage or somebody else uses an action against the creature, then it's canceled.
Okay. So Brevin asks you, Marthau, noticing that everybody on the train just sort of becomes in kind of a stupor. He says, "What did you do to them?"
I'm showing them how to have a good time.
Well, Brevin wastes no time. He runs up to the people closest to the Warforged and begins helping them as best he can to get away from them, to clear them out. Ivor, you're up. Elmorn on deck. Warforged in the hole.
I'm just going to say we should coordinate our attacks on the one that's still moving or part that could move, and I'm just going to hold my action with arrows ready to shoot at them when everyone else is ready to go.
Okay. Also, Kurt, just so you know, in my games, when you hold an action, you're not just holding a single action. You can hold your whole turn.
Okay.
So that's a full action, bonus action, move, whatever.
And I'll hop up on a bench.
What's that?
I will hop up on a bench.
Okay. All right, Elmorn.
All right. I will.
I'm holding my action, by the way, until I see somebody attack him. It'll unfreeze and go nuts.
Okay.
Can I make my way up to the spiky Warforged?
Yeah.
All right.
As you do, you see that the Warforged armor is covered in scars and dents, as if it has been very, very well tested in battle. The spikes seem to have been added on by himself, kind of makeshift-like. They weren't something that he was originally forged with. He wields two swords in his hands. Both of them appear to be like great swords, which while you saw him use them, he was using them as if they were as light as rapiers. And he definitely looks like he has kind of a stupid look in him. And you also notice a strange symbol on his chest of kind of like almost like a saw blade with a rune in the middle of it.
Well, I go up within 10 feet, since I can reach him then. And I notice all that.
Disarm him.
Disarm him? No, I don't disarm people. I destroy them.
That's like
Huh?
that's like disarming, just more.
Yeah, just from permanent. Anyway.
I'm going to chop his arms off.
So I notice all this and I say, looks like you've seen a few scraps. Too bad this will be your last. And then I use my bonus action and channel divinity. I utter my vow of enmity, and I get advantage on my attack rolls.
Nice.
And then I attack. Ooh, well, I rolled in that 20.
Okay, roll it again.
You don't add modifiers, or you do to the second roll?
Yeah, you do.
17.
No, so it's not a confirmed crit, but you still roll max damage.
All right, max damage would be.
And if you chose to, I mean, when you smite, you can choose to smite whenever, even after a crit. So if you did smite, that would be max damage as well.
Okay. Then, so that's D10 for the halberd, and then 2D8 for the smite.
Plus strength.
Plus 3.
All right, so 16, 26, 29 damage.
All right. And then get my extra attack. Okay. I rolled another 20.
Okay.
Not confirmed again.
Okay.
This time I don't smite, so I just smite the one time.
So 13.
Yes.
So with that, I mean, as you attack the Warforged, it's broken out of its stupor, and it totally focuses its gaze on you. Eivar, that triggers you if you want to use your action.
That's a 21 and 24.
Both hit.
Almost max damage. That's 12 piercing from the first arrow and 11 piercing from the second arrow.
So 23?
Yep.
Okay. So one of your arrows pierces deeply into the joint between the plates of his armor into his shoulder, burying it to the point where it pierces the other side of his shoulder. And the other one hits him, grazes off of his neck where the vines and tendons are exposed slightly, causing a bit of ichor to flow down. And then it lashes out at Elmorn and attacks him. So, first attack is a miss. Second attack is a miss. Third attack.
Yeah, third attack?
Yeah, third attack. Maybe a fourth.
That's some bullshit.
Is it? How many attacks can you make?
Just 2.
Bonus action? You can make 3 attacks.
Well, yeah, I guess.
What's your armor class, Elmorn?
18.
I lost my dice. So that's also a miss thanks to the Bane.
Woohoo! Yeah! Forgot about that.
Thanks to the Bane.
Yeah, I
Bane
cast Bane
effect.
on him. Came in handy.
I was born here.
So the other Warforged remains stupefied. Kolmar, your turn.
Okay, the one Warforged that I hit may or may not take acid damage, but 5 more acid damage.
Okay.
And the one that they are attacking, I'm going to hit with a firebolt.
Also, give me a perception check for the firebolt.
Okay. 13.
Okay, that's good enough. You notice that the acid does more damage than you would expect.
More damage than I would expect.
That's not something you hear him say very often.
No, it's not what I was expecting. Then I will change my mind and you shoot another acid arrow. Let's see here. 17.
Miss.
Golly. And I will use an action point. Come on. 18.
Miss.
We're going up. Crap. All right.
I mean, acid arrow is one of those ones where even on a miss, they still take half the initial damage.
Yeah, that's right. It's 2d4, so. Okay, I'll just go with that one then. 4 acid damage.
Okay. So you see the acid eat away at the Warforged armor, and many of the spikes melt into nubs. Brevin continues to move as many people out of the way as possible and get them to the back of the cart. And then we have Eivar, Elmorn, and then the Warforged.
So I'm up again.
Yeah.
I will take 2 more arrow shots at the one attacking Elmorn. That's 20 and a natural 20. So what do? I roll another d20 for the potential crit.
Yeah, so you roll it as if it's another attack.
That is an 11.
What's that?
My attempt to confirm was an 11. So that was 12 for the crit and 8 for the regular hit.
Wait a minute. What?
I rolled a natural 20 and a non-natural 20. I rolled to confirm the crit, but I got an 11, so that misses.
Okay, yeah. So then the critical, you do max damage.
Which is 12 for that arrow.
Okay.
And then I do 8 with the other arrow.
All right. So that Warforged becomes non-functional. You can go ahead and describe how that happens.
So the first arrow hits him again in that spot where some ichor was coming down, and the flow begins to increase. And then the second arrow comes in and splits that arrow I just shot, the crit, and then there's just a spray of ichor, and the whole thing starts to shake and rattle and just sort of doesn't fall over, but it seems to sort of crumple in on itself.
It sprays all over me. Ah! Nice shot, I suppose, new guy.
All right. So Elmorn, you're up. The other Warforged is stupefied, so you guys can act out of initiative order if you want to, as long as it's stupefied.
Are we just gonna destroy this one too? Or we're gonna try and take it alive and question it? What do you guys think?
I hear Warforged. I don't know if they'll answer questions.
I mean,
He'll answer.
they're human beings. They have free will to answer questions. But I mean, if it were me, it makes sense to ask the questions and see if it answers. But I'm just an employee here.
He'll give us answers.
As you guys are discussing this, you hear another explosion and the train rattles again.
Shit.
Seems to be coming from the front of the train.
There may not just be 2 of these.
How long does this stupefy thing last?
For a minute.
We don't have long to decide.
We can ask it questions. But
Stupefied, we can ask it questions?
as soon as it becomes unstupefied and it's ready in a state where we could ask questions, it's going to start attacking us.
So it's charmed right now. So according to my DM cheat sheet, which I recommend you guys utilize when you have an opportunity, it can't attack the charmer or with attacks or any harmful abilities, and the charmer has advantage on any ability check to interact socially with it. So Martha can interact socially with it, ask it questions, but also per the specific spell that Martha used, it is incapacitated and has a speed of 0.
Yeah, so it literally can't do anything right now.
Speaking doesn't usually take an action. I mean, it's kind of like it's high. It's stowed while watching this display of lights. You might be able to ask it questions and get some response from it.
You can totally ask it questions. Talking is a non-action. But it can't take actions or reactions. So it can't move. It can't do anything that requires any kind of physical movement. But it can definitely talk.
Okay.
So I reach into my haversack and take out a Tanglefoot bag and say, if it moves, throw this at him and run and find us. And then I'm going to start moving towards the front of the train, towards where the last explosion happened.
Brevin says, "I'll do you one better," and he pulls out a pair of manacles.
So he
And
looks sturdy enough to hold a warforged.
these are House Denieth manacles. I'm sure they'll do the job.
Just like the caravan we took.
Okay, House of Neath. Well,
Really
shit.
Job.
So he manacles the Warforged.
I'm about to pass out. So I probably got another 5 minutes left to be.
Okay. Yeah, we're pretty much finishing up for tonight.
So
I would just say, why don't you ask your questions, and then whatever's going on in front of the train we can do next time.
yeah, ask him what he's doing here.
Morthal, ask him what's
But
going on.
don't tell me how to ask questions.
You're drunk.
Whoa, what are you doing here? And why did you interrupt my stone piss drinking?
The Warforged looks at you with a blankness in his eyes, and in a robotic tone he says, "I serve the Lord of Blades. We are seeking the magical schema that is on this train."
Lord of Blades, eh?
If that's some shit Brevin's carrying, I'm gonna kick his ass.
Brevin looks at Colmar and says, "I don't know anything about this." And then Brevin adds, "These trains are not just passenger trains; they often carry cargo. It could be anything."
Why does the Lord of Blades want this magic schema?
Unit is unsure. Unit was ordered to attack the train and retrieve the schema. Unit does not ask further questions.
Where did you come from? Where was your starting point for this mission?
We come from our base in the Mournland.
Good morning. Ask him who this Lord of Blades is.
Who's this Lord of Blades?
The Lord of Blades is Unit's designated leader and god.
He sounds like a moron.
The Lord of Blades is destined to reclaim the land from the flesh races and take back what is rightfully belonging to Warforged kind.
We're Warforged commonplace in Seer?
Sire?
Sire?
Warforged are not necessarily commonplace anywhere, since they were built as kind of very expensive shock troops for the war. So they were produced in mass to a point, but I mean, there's probably no more than somewhere between 10 and 20,000 Warforged total. But they, since the Treaty of Thronehold, it's been made illegal to create new Warforged. Warforged have been given full rights of citizenship to the which many people oppose, but that was conditional that they can't be any more created.
I only asked because I was curious if Almorn would be shocked to hear that these Warforged were from the Mornland.
I mean, yeah, everything you know about the Mornland says that it's the most inhospitable place that exists.
Is it
In your research, there's just horror story after horror story of nightmarish creatures that roam the land and the strange effects that the land have on those that visit the Mornland.
Is the existence of the Lord of Blades something commonly known, or could I make a history check about it?
You can.
It's a 20.
So, yeah, you have some awareness of the Lord of Blades. You've heard a little bit about him. And I'll send you an email with the specific information that you've heard and the sources of that information.
That's fine.
Okay.
Ask him if he knows sigil.
What he said.
As you're asking the question, there's another explosion that rocks the train from the front.
Answer him!
Unit does not know any designate by sigil.
Damn it! And I just start moving towards the front. I move away. I start going towards where the explosions are.
From what you see, I mean, the door to the cart is open, but the door to the other cart is not. So there's like kind of a walkway in between, and the train is connected by these mithril kind of clamping mechanisms. So you don't really have a clear view from where you are, but you can either open up the door or you can climb to the top of the train to try and get a view and see what might be happening from the outside.
Climbing to the top of the train.
So when you climb to the top of the train...
While they were asking those questions, I would have recovered whatever arrows I didn't break.
Okay.
Are we gonna wrap soon? Because it seems like Dustin's already passed out.
Is Dustin going to become the new owlbear? Yeah, we're going to wrap up in a minute. One more revelation. So, Kurt, half your arrows are recoverable. And then anybody that climbs the train cart on the other side sees that there is what looks to be an elemental airship that has anchored itself into the train, flying above it. And there are several flying warforged around the train that seem to be attacking, and other warforged that seem to be climbing down the anchor, boarding the train.
All right. So we're under siege.
Robot pirates.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for playing. I will send out a couple of emails in terms of information regarding the Lord of Blades to those that might have some of that information. if there's any other questions that you want to ask, we can do it through email too. Like just get that RP stuff out of the way to get into the action next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
And then, are we good for next Wednesday? Because I sent out the email about the potential new date for running the game.
Works for me.
Yeah. Any day except Tuesdays work for me. So.
Dustin, does next Tuesday or next Wednesday work for you?
I can do next Wednesday. After that, I won't be able to do Wednesdays.
Okay. So we'll have a
Sunday.
conversation. Oh, go ahead.
So Sundays or Mondays work best.
Okay.
So
Kurt, I know you said that Saturdays don't work for you. Other than that, everything's good.
Yeah. But, I mean, now, who knows? But Saturdays I know don't work. Everything else is usually open.
Okay. And then Ano, you said just not Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, do you have any limitations while you're still not on duty?
Yeah, getting close to when I'm going to be gone. So, I mean, whatever you guys decide, I'll try to make it.
Okay. All right, so we'll go next Wednesday, and then maybe after next Wednesday we'll jump to that Monday spot.
okay, works for me.
Me too.
All right. I'll just check with Brendan to make sure that works for him as well. All right, guys. Thanks for playing.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
All right.
Night.
Night. Have you started watching Game of Thrones yet?
No, I haven't. I know because I know once I get into it, I'm going to want to watch like at least 4 or 5 episodes. So I don't have time. Is like I don't have a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
Free time at this point. So
Yeah, I can imagine it's a lot of getting ready,
yeah.
putting things in order.
Yeah.
Thought we were going to get to it tonight, but I have an interesting surprise coming up for this battle that's ahead.
Cool.
Yeah. I can't wait to unveil it.
So the Warforged. So there's an airship anchored to the lightning rail.
Yeah.
Okay. So this doesn't sound like our fight, but it sounds like we're in the middle of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Wouldn't you know it? Even when you're not looking for a fight, one
Yep.
finds you. Yeah, you notice that Brevin is just as shocked as you guys are in terms of what's going to be going on.
Okay.
By the way, how's your pooch?
Oh, she's doing better. She just wants to because of the surgery, they can't really run around. They have to be on a leash for like 2 months. So every time she goes out, she has to be on a leash. So it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And she wants to run around and she can't. So, but she seems to be doing okay.
That's good.
Because the other night, the last game we played, when I got up, they just got an attitude. And then I got up again to check something and noticed that the one dog had blood on her face,
Ugh.
and she had gotten her in the ear, so she was bleeding. So that's what I was trying to do, like bandage it.
Oh no.
But it wasn't too bad. So, and she wasn't like in pain or anything.
Oh, that's good.